Alright, dear viewers, the challenge series returns much quicker than the previous intermission. Week 141 takes us to probably a track that half of you don't even recognize. The Holiest of Shoes Circuit of St. Croix, joke that my sit-in co-commentator had come up with, not me.
Yep. And that's right, people. I am back in the booth for another edition of the Challenge Series.
Yeah. At this point, it was just a convenience thing. It wasn't even so much like, I need help commentating this. It's just...
I exist.
Yeah. Why is Logan Cool existing?
Because 9 months before I was born.
And on that note, we're just gonna go into the race before Logan has any chance to derail this further. And we are green from basically the French countryside. There doesn't really seem to be any landmarks around here to tell us otherwise. The 675 class is taking to the track for only 3 laps, but believe me, because of how long the circuit is, this will be the longest race of the week. At least for the drivers. For the broadcast, there's a bunch of contact there. Not so much.
Yeah, this is, I believe, one of the longest tracks that we can go to on a regular basis because of the contract with Le Mans, and then it's this thing with the Nordschleife.
Yeah, the big event clause with Le Mans and the Nordschleife just kind of being very closed doors about their operation. You can see like Silica, Wix, Peppers, Birdies. They got damage all over their cars because of that big concertina effect at that hairpin. The POV driver who did not get damage is Lifa in the very green R34. Every time I look at that, my brain just thinks of Funyuns for some reason.
Now I'm hungry.
Lifa nearly gets run over by Hanamaru, who I think missed her braking point by a bit there. Already has front aero damage, so probably affecting her ability to brake.
Yeah, that damage is normally not a good thing to get on lap 1 of these type of events.
It's not a good thing to get at all.
We approach the Instruments Bridge on this track.
Good old scenery, the racetrack. There's a handful of them on this game, but this is definitely one of the main, not proprietors, more like culprits of that, I think is the better word. Though we're not going to be seeing much of the scenery because of how foggy it is this evening. Back up towards the front. We'll try to see who doesn't have any damage. Not many. The top 3 look okay. Milu somehow kept her nose clean. Lifa's boxed in. A trio of green cars. They're actually 3 wide over the top of the crest. The R34 just got a way better exit because it's 4-wheel drive. So it will fork right off.
She goes underneath the inside of her teammate and clears her in the straight line. Okay.
Slipstream. I don't think Silica could have gotten Slipstream off Yo, but Lifa got Slipstream off of her. This is a race that I imagine a lot of drivers would struggle with too, just because we don't go here very often, and the shakedown session wasn't really all that long. Not stopping Lifa around the outside of the 128 car. Clearly she knows where she's going. Perhaps no one else does.
Yeah, now she's got to overtake one of the fastest cars in the category, and...
Not quite.
Yeah, okay, I was about to say, there's no way she does it with that much ease.
She kind of she almost did like a crossover attack there without crossing over. Yeah, she just attacks and gets around the long way eventually. And She can embarrass that A110 on the straight.
As Barbara's going to do the exact same thing. No! Wow.
Well, the A110 can certainly corner, so that's about its only advantage, but, I mean, there's so many straightaways on this track, it's a matter of when, not if, for the 55 car.
Now Leafa's going to try to go for a podium spot.
Doesn't quite have a run on that AMG though, but Barbara does this time get by the Alpine. Oh, send it down the inside. You can just about see them in the distance. Neither one of them really had a good exit there, but
Four-wheel drive.
Yep. Sometimes it just doesn't matter how badly you make the turn if you've got all-wheel drive. The collective length of the hair of the three people in the podium spots right now could single-handedly solve male pattern baldness. I swear to God.
The length of the hair of the top three could be the entire length of this track.
Just about. Who the hell is Goldilocks anyway?
I believe Lipa?
Kind of. No, Lipa is in second place. Who's on second? I don't know who's on third. Actually, no, wait, who's in first?
Here.
Actually, no, wait, who's on first? Yeah! That was, accidental genius. Yeah.
That's a joke we haven't said in a while.
That was a perspective thing. I think Leaf is gonna have it here, though, because she can just get on the power way earlier. Well, we're about halfway through the race, and we've got a new leader in the form of the R34 Skyline. Hu Tao has no response whatsoever to that.
She's just going to exist in second place for the time being.
Yeah, focus on not losing more places, I suppose.
Bumper!
Over to the back of the 328. I don't know if that's really the way she intended to do that. I think that may have just been heavy car unfamiliarity with the circuit.
Heavy car braking earlier than the light car.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they're not particularly light, either one of them, but I think the Corvette is just a little bit heavier and a little bit less efficient in its body shape. It doesn't exactly make up its time in the corners, you know? It hangs on in the corners and then proceeds to smack 185 down this back straightaway. 185 in the 675 classes. I don't think it's the highest, but it is very close to the highest. And I'm sure whatever can exceed 185 probably isn't very easy to handle.
Yeah. Can those tires be screeching any louder?
She's trying to push, I guess. I don't see why she'd be doing that. I can see why they'd be pushing. They're trying to get up to her, but... Actually, yeah, Lipa's not really causing much tire squealing. It's, I think it's mostly Noir because her car is rear-wheel drive. And, doesn't even have front aero either, so she's having to probably just manhandle the steering wheel just to get this thing to turn as well as it does.
Fair enough, as the white flag is out, one to go, not sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Sure enough, the white flag is in the air while we're spectating a French driver with a mostly white car.
While we're in
France, son of a bitch. Japan, China, and France walk into a bar. There's probably a punch on there somewhere. I don't know where it is.
I think it has to do with the German involved.
Well, the Germans are in 4th and 5th. We do have something going on, except that it's for 8th place. Fenny's forced the long way around Chica in the Impreza. A winner of a race last week, but only middle of the road today, and gets absolutely embarrassed on corner exit by a freaking Pantera. Chica may be a little bit asleep at the wheel this evening by the looks of things.
Yeah, that's yeah, did a four-wheel drive car just get embarrassed on corner exit by a rear-wheel drive car?
Clearly, I guess that, you know, points for technique. A reminder, Fenny got damage on lap 1, as did Bernice back here in 10th, but Chica was not involved in any of that.
Ah, she just slow.
Yeah, perhaps
As
she's
the
really
leaders enter the bridge for the final time.
Yeah, clearly Chica just simply does not know her way around here and is just trying to gather track time by the looks of things. And she's still leading her team, despite 4 members of that team. Her, Hanamaru, Yoshiko, and Yo all running this race, and it's not going excellent because the other 3 all got damage on that first lap.
It looks like some of them may have got damaged twice.
No, I think Yo is just off pace as well.
And then
These two, I wouldn't be surprised if they did get damaged twice, because I imagine they probably gave it to each other, knowing them.
Final time down the long back straight.
Yeah, and it is not close. That's probably at least about 4 or 5 seconds between Lifa and Hu Tao. I would say probably 4. Noir not close enough to contest. Your Barbara hitting 190 almost. I think it was 189 for a split second. Meanwhile, 170 for the A110. Wow, that's almost 189 too. Oh my god, that's faster. That's 190. Jeez.
Fenny! Yeah, what would have happened if she didn't get damaged lap 1?
Yeah, show us that modular V8 at Crown Victoria in sheep's clothing.
It's a kind of zig from Wish.
The eggnog. Final turn for Lifa in the Funyuns R34. I don't know why my brain approximates that, but either way, 11 minutes and change later, there is the checkered flag. Lifa wins, Hu Tao losing ground to Noir, but the TVR is out of time. She will get 3rd, Barbara 4th, and Ryza rounds out your top 5. Fenny was not far off of her teammate up there in 7th. Almost makes one wish this were a longer race. That's the end of the replay. Oops. I've done that more and more often as time goes on. It's kind of getting a little questionable, but yeah, victory to the R34. Lifa's first time driving here, but it doesn't look like it, does it?
No, it does not.
But that will take us, excuse me, we're not there yet, to the second race on Tuesday. And we stay in France, son of a bitch, for Tuesday's racing action at another track we've never gone to the full layout of before in nearly 3 years in the Challenge Series. Alsace Village plays host to a race for the first time, and it's the full accompaniment of the 750 class that will do the honors today. Very, not really, the availability of this track is very weird. It's also just a matter of, the admins don't really care for it.
Not really, no.
Remember, I think it was mostly Noir's idea. She was kind of the brainchild here, and I guess that makes sense as she represents France, son of a bitch, even though she's not actually from there. None of the characters of her little group of drivers, like herself, Neptune, Uni, etc., they're not actually from France, but that's a long story. That's not why we're here. We're here for the race. We are green from the village. I just prefer calling it that because I don't even know how to pronounce the name of the track. Lightning Larison, because, well, that's contact. That's a lot of damage to this, not C5R. Never mind, that's the wrong car. Her car is fine. Oh, it was Alice Carson that was heavily damaged. That's
Watch out.
oh dear God,
Watch out, Rexy!
Carly, what in the hell was that, Watts?
Caution's out?
Yeah, caution was out in about 5 seconds. Also, that's not Dedrick Schwartz in that car. Fucking leaderboard crew is fucking around again, but I think they got a second chance because of the, this restart that we had to have, but we'll take another look at whatever the hell just happened there. Okay, so Carly bottoms out, saves the car, but then just turns dead left into traffic, clobbers the shit out of her POV driver who collects Hikari as he's just a passenger at that point. So that's maybe a Nissan in the mud today.
Yeah, that's, Wait a minute, is that an old Super GT, GTR?
Yeah, we have like the 1989 and then the 2008 model in the same crash. And then we also have like a ton of damage on a different Super GT car on the grid. Akira, oh my god, what is going on? Don't drive a Super GT car, or JGTC I should say, at Alsace Village at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Gone wrong, not safe for work, or the racetrack. Carly might be getting a bit of a talking to because, yeah, she lost control of the car, but like, she's gotten it straightened out at this point, right? She doesn't need to pull the wheel left.
Yeah, that's a way how you get half of Demon Sports over there to your garage.
There's no excuse for that. That is terrible driving. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, take two. We'll do this again. Luckily, Demon Sport / Future Team Racing Wolves thought ahead. They had a backup car ready for Larison. And Alice Carson and Carly Watts got sent to the back while fixing their damage. Hikari also fixed his damage, but he was apparently a lot quicker with it. I guess what's happened when you have your own racing team. Which, I mean, yeah, he's sort of associated. Obviously, he didn't really have to fix anything as he goes around the outside, yeah. But Carson and Watts are unaffiliated, as Watts just finds all of the curb. No, Carson. Names. Difficult.
Drivers. Speed. Adrenaline.
They were just three wide for a second there. Watts is again out of control, but there's nobody back here for her to spin into this time. Already into the top 10 for the 640 car. There's a pretty even mix of racing and street cars in this race, which you don't really get too often in the 750 class.
Yeah, and it's helped a lot since we introduced the 750R class, which allows these race cars to compete, because it used to be, cornering was but top speed was non-existing.
Yeah, the Group 3s don't really have that problem, but older race cars... yeah, Mark Wild? Yeah, Mark Wild, are you sure about that? Older race cars, like this one, had a very different problem of just the BOP made their power figures so pathetically low. Get absolutely done, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Home track advantage. Home track advantage can only help you so much with the amount of sheer grip this thing is making. The old Super GT really games the system because it is kind of a perfect middle ground where it's got almost like LMP2 levels of grip by default, but with an engine that wasn't so overpowered that it had to be nerfed just to make it competitive. It's carrying a fair bit of ballast and a lower spec downforce package, but the engine of the car wasn't really affected.
It's also one of the few cars that, due to the regulations, is allowed to run on the racing mediums.
Yeah, that regulation is what's basically the main difference. Yeah, Charlotte? You don't have the facilities for that. That is basically the main shtick of 750R, just allows them to run on the racing mediums rather than having to, and you know, not having to nerf them a ton more to make up for that.
Yeah.
Blonde is the only other driver I think on this grid who is in 750R. Everybody else is a regular road car or a Group 3 that doesn't have to deal with that same system.
Oh, right, the old Japanese touring cars have are under 750 rules, not 750.
And Hikari has been damaged once again.
Show me the spin, Nala.
Watts has just overtaken the 10 car and is still
stepped
struggling.
on it.
And, well, yeah, actually, that's just Hikari, I mean, braking probably exactly where this car can. It's just that the Ford GT up ahead can't. That's just kind of a deficit that I figured he would have learned to work around by now, considering we've been in with this setup for a while.
Third time through that corner for that Ford GT, and that's the third time that Ford GT has had issues.
Lightning with a bit of understeer, I think I just saw there, but I don't think it's really hurting him much with the kind of lead he's already sitting on, just 2 laps into the race. The CTR3 is absolutely lethal under power, but it can only do so much in the corners compared to a GT500 car from, you know, several years ago.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a big one. Same thing.
Ooh.
That's not somebody you want to run into the back of, but then again, Blonde's not somebody you want to piss off either, so that, I think we were lucky that that didn't really explode into a worse situation in the garage post-race. Mark Wilde will also join them, his car having been absolutely demolished. We're going to be rewinding a lot, apparently. This was after the incident between Blonde and Tyler. Mark Wilde just overcooks it, understeers, grass. There's the Camaro, which is how Tyler had front-end damage.
Poor Tyler.
And he continues to understeer, and there's Blonde. That didn't do anything, but he had more damage than that, so something else goes wrong for him.
Holy wheel space.
You know how much power this thing is making? I'm not surprised.
Not enough. Ooh.
Takes evasive action, that's how he got the extra damage. He also drives into the door of Noir, but that's not going to do much to her car, and yeah, that is the end of his day, effectively.
Viper on Viper damage.
Anything else we should know about people losing control? Also, yeah, there we go, we got the proper name over top of the car. That it was not Dedrick Schwartz. Even Scarborough's kind of struggling. All the road cars are struggling with the amount of compression that we're getting up that hill. And yet nobody seems to be, like, adapting to it, like, heaven forbid. Kinda got this, like, mid-pack here that McKinley is leading. It's basically a train, so far as I'm concerned. Choo-choo. I don't think she's holding them up, per se, but I mean, it's very obvious that she is still somewhat bottlenecking the running order here. Fast forward to the white flag lap here, as Logan's drink continues to respond in kind. That's, I mean, you'd think that's a healthy lead, but considering how much time that CTR3 is about to gain here, I mean, yeah, look at that acceleration. That's like, it's like a jet engine practically. She had to let off over that crest. But,
yeah, then you enter this section of the track where it's just medium and low speed corners where Lightning just absolutely decimates the competition. And going into this race, he was looking at this more as a glorified test session for the upcoming season-ending championship, because I believe he is one of the few drivers getting a special privateer invite.
One of exactly 2, yeah, and the other one we haven't even worked out yet because, well, she kind of doesn't have a car.
Yeah, I think she's supposed to be stopping by the DN Sport Garage to talk out a deal later this week.
I'd rather she didn't make a literal deal with the devil for a ride in a championship of all things. Devil, demon, same thing in this context.
To be fair, Lightning's pretty chill. Speaking of chill, he's just gonna chill up the hill for the final time on the final lap. final time on the final lap. Yes, Brayden, that is how English works.
The final that sound you hear is the hammering of the final nail of the coffin in Charlotte Riel's hopes and dreams of winning this race on home soil. I think I actually accidentally got the quote right instead of fucking it up like the original quote. I can't even screw it up. Lightning Larison is your winner from the debut race at Alsace's full village circuit. Riel does get second. It is a 2-3 for France. Son of a bitch. Also a 3-4 for NFR as McKinley narrowly defeats Veronica at the line. But yeah, the redesigned backup car. That's gonna need a new sticker back there in a minute, I'd say.
We're stopping by the gift shop later.
I didn't know this place had a gift shop.
Yep.
44. Yeah, I mean that 40. Oh, that 44.5 is because Blonde's in a GT1. That's why. Right. Got up to 9th after. Well, actually, she just stayed in 9th because I think everybody behind her either had damage or just had no pace. So maybe that's not that much of an accomplishment. But nevertheless, that's just Tuesday. Still got 3 more to go this week.
I'll get the tequila.